All these tech CEOs are running scared of Donald Trump, including Mark Zuckerberg. Guess what? They now will be getting rid of their fact checking after Zuckerberg announced they're ending fact checking, removing restrictions on speech across Facebook and Instagram. Zuckerberg created Facebook's content policing efforts after the Orange Man's first presidential election. Now the Meta platform CEO is reversing course, saying he wants to restore free expression on their platforms. He also said that what he wants to do is that, have more positive things to say. Now, let's remind y'all, this is the same Facebook that has been suppressing content, suppressing Black content creators, suppressing news as well. And so this is some of the video. I'm not going to play the whole 5-minute video because, frankly, I'm going to end up throwing up. But just here's some of what Zuckerberg had to say.
Everyone, I want to talk about something important today because it's time to get back to our roots around free expression on Facebook and Instagram. I started building social media to give people a voice. I gave a speech at Georgetown 5 years ago about the importance of protecting free expression, and I still believe this today. But a lot has happened over the last several years. There's been widespread debate about potential harms from online content. Governments and legacy media have pushed to censor more and more. A lot of this is clearly political, but there's also a lot of legitimately bad stuff out there. Drugs, terrorism, child exploitation. These are things that we take very seriously, and I want to make sure that we handle responsibly. So we built a lot of complex systems to moderate content. But the problem with complex systems is they make mistakes. Even if they accidentally censor just 1% of posts, that's millions of people. And we've reached a point where it's just too many mistakes and too much censorship. The recent elections also feel like a cultural tipping point towards once again prioritizing speech. So we're going to get back to our roots and focus on reducing mistakes, simplifying our policies, and restoring free expression on our platforms.
Okay, all right, enough of that crap. So you heard that the recent election, let's get back to our roots of free expression. No, what this is about is Mark Zuckerberg is scared to death of getting whacked by Donald Trump. That's all this is. And in fact, at that ridiculously nutcase news conference he had today, Trump said, yeah, that's probably why they're making these changes. Not only that, he's swapped out his public affairs office, putting in a longtime Republican. And when they announced these initiatives, they went on Fox News this morning. That's all you need to know. These tech CEOs are all about kissing Donald Trump's ass. And that's all this is. Joe, very simple.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a problem, right? And I guess you couldn't tell that Mark Zuckerberg looked like maybe he was on his knees. But in any event, it's just amazing how everybody has bent over backwards to kiss the ring. And so they don't want to be left out, right? They don't want to, knowing that they've got a person that will that will use retribution to carry out things against people, to carry out things against organizations, to carry out things against behemoth organizations like Facebook. I mean, the fact of the matter is, an organization that big that was run successfully on some level, would be distinguished from a lot of the things that Donald Trump has run. And so, therefore, I mean, it'd be great if somebody would take a stand in that regard. But clearly, he's being moved, as are Bezos and other folks, by the fact that the wind seems to be blowing in the direction of Donald Trump, and they want to make sure that they don't get left out as it pertains to it. And that's too bad, so sad, because now, you've got free reign of bull crap that can be on social media, things that are untrue. He can say that there's too much censorship, but there's also some such thing as too little censorship, particularly when you have things run that have to do with people's lives, that has to do with people's livelihoods, et cetera. My sense is that a lot of people are going to get hurt the other way because of the decision that they're making. And I think that's a problem.
I'm telling you, it was hilarious watching that hostage video, Mustafa. We see the bending of the knee by Jeff Bezos. We see Elon Musk kissing his ass. We see all that they're doing. And look, the United States calling for TikTok to be shut down by January 19th or potentially so. You got these conservative folks lining up trying to buy that. The right wing is desperate to control big tech. Access to information, has access to hundreds of millions of people. And we saw how Elon Musk used Twitter to flood the key timelines of so many people with nothing but right-wing propaganda.
Yeah. Well, it's all about misinformation, disinformation, being able to control the narrative, to reframe the narrative, all these different types of things, because they understand where people get their information from. They're not watching mainstream media. They're going to social media platforms or going to digital services to be able to get their information. So if they can control that, or if they can at least manipulate it enough that they can keep people confused, they can make sure that folks feel like they're in a chaotic situation, then people won't do anything. Most people won't. They're like a deer in the headlights. And Zuckerberg, when I was watching that, I was thinking about something my daddy used to say. He used to ask the question, how's your spine? And what he meant by that is if you don't have a strong spine, and he used to say the winds are going to blow hard someday, and then what's going to happen to you? And that's just what you see playing out here with these tech folks who for decades, people thought that they were untouchable, that they, were, for some of them, they were going to move and do the right things. And now we see not only the bending of the knee, but there are some other ways, descriptors we could use for what they're actually doing in this moment. But what's most important is to ask the question that Joe Madison would say, what are you going to do about it? So how are we going to react to these types of situations? Are we going to continue to support entities that do not have our best interests at heart? Are we going to continue to support entities that are going to give us, not truthful information, or going to allow things to be, misconstrued? So we have power in this moment also. Sometimes we feel like we don't have power. This is about a power grab. So we have to answer the question my grandmother says when she says you have power unless you give it away. So what are we going to do in this moment?
Look, they're running scared because they don't want the federal government changing how they do business. This is about billions upon billions of dollars. And what we're seeing here are individuals, Randy, who are scared to death of Donald Trump. And he is going to make them do what he wants to do. But what we have to be concerned with is what ends up happening, how they may end up screwing over voters, screwing over regular ordinary people when it comes to content. And don't be shocked if you see a lot more right wing stuff left and right. Then this whole deal with Musk and now Zuckerberg, more positive stuff. They want to penalize criticism of Donald Trump. That's all this is about.
That is all it's about. He who controls the media controls the mind. What they tell us is what people believe. We've seen that with Fox News and what a powerful impact it has had on those people who just believe anything that they say, regardless of how ridiculous it sounds. And so it's quite scary that Trump is now controlling the media, which is which is what dictators do. They control what we hear. We're not ever able to hear a balanced viewpoint or any opposing sides. And, Zuckerberg, yes, he is bending down right now, but he has for a while. I mean, Meta gave a lot of money to the Trump campaign. He just gave $1 million a couple of weeks ago to the Trump fund. We saw what happened with Twitter as soon as it turned to X. As a matter of fact, the day that he bought Twitter, I got off of it because I just did not want to see what was happening. And I'll tell you, as a person who has a fairly large community on social media, my site has been shut down, suspended countless times. And namely, whatever I said anything that was not positive about Donald Trump. So I literally, or Donald Dump, or I just avoided saying anything whatsoever. So it's censorship in the way that will work for them and get the messages out that they want. So they could run this country and ruin free speech. Real free speech and real free thought. It's scary.
Zuckerberg added 3 new additions to his company's board of directors, big-time Trump supporter and wife beater Dana White, the CEO and president of the Ultimate Fighting Championship, John Elkann, the CEO of Exor, a European investment company, and Charlie Songhurst, a technology investor. I was looking at social media. They also have been deleting criticism of those appointments on their internal message boards. And so I guess they don't really believe in freedom of expression if you work for Facebook. Isaac Hayes III, who is the founder of Fanbase, released this video in response to what Zuckerberg announced today.
Today, you saw a video of Mark Zuckerberg walking back the policies that kept Instagram and Facebook trusted platforms for their users to turn to. Real trust, the kind that makes you feel seen and heard, is what social media is supposed to be about, right? But these days, it feels like that trust is slipping away. When platforms start stepping back from accountability, it makes me think, where does that leave us? Freedom of speech thrives on informed discussions where individuals can exchange ideas rooted in truth. If platforms allow unchecked misinformation to spread, it pollutes public discourse. This makes it harder for the people to distinguish fact from fiction, undermining the very foundation of meaningful communication. It is apparent now more than ever that the oligarchs only seek to increase their wealth, suppress the truth, and consolidate their power, all at the expense of the communities they built their fortunes on and claim to serve. But we have a choice. We can stand idly by and watch as trust erodes, or we can act boldly, decisively, and invest in platforms that value us, that respect us, and that empower us. And that choice starts right now. I'm asking every single one of you to download Fanbase today. Don't wait. Don't put it off. Become part of something bigger. At Fanbase, we're dedicated to building an environment that is not only free from misinformation, but is safe and welcoming as well. So be heard, become part of the shift in power, and download Fanbase. This is our moment to redefine what social media can be. This is our moment to own the future. Hello.
So I went on social media earlier, Mustafa, Randy, and Joe, talking about this. And one of the things that I tried to explain to people is that they need to understand what platforms are. They need to understand what your pages are. And so, perfect example. Okay, so we're streaming right now on YouTube, Facebook, I think Twitch. We might be on Instagram. We also are streaming on our Black Star Network app. So we have our own platform. So if YouTube decides that, you know what, you can't run this, if Facebook says you can't run this, well, then we can still get our content out to our audience and not have to be, frankly, censored by anybody else. And what I've been saying to people, this is a perfect example why we as African Americans, and even those who aren't Black, who watch us, should be, one, downloading Fanbase, two, investing in Fanbase. So let me explain. So a little bit earlier today, I went live on Instagram. And if I look at my Instagram account, if I look at the account, I have 744,000 followers on Instagram. When I went live today, the max number of people who watched was about 323. Okay, 323 who watched this earlier. So keep in mind that's not even 0.5% of all of my followers. Okay, so I went live on Facebook. I think we got up to 850 or something along those lines. I got 1.4 million followers there. Mark Zuckerberg basically admitted that they've been shadow banning, that they don't allow all of your content to go to all of your followers. He admitted that. And so we have to understand that a platform like Fanbase, if you have let's just say Fanbase had 100 million users. Let's say I had 1 million people who are on me, following me on Fanbase. Well, my million folks would actually be seeing my content, would be getting my content, because they're not trying to make their money off of advertising. And that's the piece. And so Elon Musk and Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Threads, all these platforms, they're not sending your content to all of your followers, Mustafa. Mm-hmm. They are still controlling who gets to see it, when they get to see it. And so we need to, and I keep saying as Black people, we have got to stop being consumers and users and being equity players, which is why I have been so bullish when it comes to us investing in Fanbase, building that up, to millions and millions of followers, being able to go public, and now we create wealth. We have an equity stake in the company, and we are in the control of the content, because I'm telling you, the next 4 years, we're going to see a deluge of right-wing content hitting us on every social media platform, especially Facebook and Twitter.
Yeah. And again, it's about power. It's about, being able to make sure that the information that's being shared, not only with your family, if you have children or, folks that you care about, is authentic and that it's truthful, and hopefully that it's culturally competent. But, there's this game that's being played, and so many folks, I don't want to think folks are asleep, but I know people got a lot of things going on in their lives. But, when you have entities that you can trust and that have your best interests at heart, whether it's Fanbase or the Black Star Network, we should be investing in those. If you look traditionally in our communities, the entities that have been, not only survived, but were strong and that were thriving, it was because we were reinvesting back into them. And then they were investing in us by making sure they were sharing the right information with us, making sure they're sharing our stories and our successes, and also the tribulations that we may have been dealing with. So we have that same opportunity in this moment to make sure that we're supporting our own, because other people will do that. And they are also taking over these other platforms, and we know what they're going to be pumping into that. So we have power in this moment, and you can make the investment. Or you can continue to invest in these other types of entities that have no concern for our community.
Yeah, so once somebody posted Ken B on our YouTube channel, Randy said, if you have to pay to like, if you like something on Fanbase, it's not free. That's a lie. That's not true. Now, they have a system where you can like something, but if you want to give a heart, if you will, you want to click a heart. What that then does is that system allows for you to basically pay someone saying, I liked what I saw, but you don't have to. There are some people on the platform, they have content that you actually subscribe to. And so that's all there. So it's a free app. But the point that I'm trying to make to our people, Randy, we have made so many other people billionaires. We blew up Twitter. We blew up Facebook. We blew up Clubhouse. I mean, I could go on and on and on. And I'm like, why don't we blow up stuff that's Black owned?
Right. We need to decolonize our minds and realize that we can make things bigger and safer for us. We have made so many people millionaires and billionaires. None of these platforms would be nothing without Black content makers and users. And so we have to trust in ourselves. We have to invest in ourselves. That is the only way we're ever going to get free. Because trust me, they're going to censor all of your content creators that speak a truth that they don't like. And only the truth does set us free, even if the truth is uncomfortable, even if it's a truth that they don't like. So it's the reason why they took away Twitter, which was very much centered in Black Twitter, and changed it. It's the reason why they're trying to shut TikTok down. It's the reason why they're censoring us on Facebook, and they will continue to do so. And so we must go to our own platforms where we can hear our truth and speak our truth. And at the same time, feed our economy, because we can't do anything without economic empowerment. So I hope that we trust ourselves and start to invest in Fanbase, use Fanbase, and feed into our people again. It's important. It's imperative. No one's going to save us but us.
That's it, Joe.
Yeah, I mean, that's where we got to go. And you know, we're at a new year. We're at a new time, and there's a lot of things, even the Bible says you can't put new wine into old wineskins. And maybe your old wineskin might be the procrastination of not doing something that you thought you'd do. Whether you're talking about cleaning your garage, whether you're talking about starting a business, whether you're talking about writing a book, whatever it is that you're doing, I think it's important to use this time to look at our lives, to look at what we're doing, to look at what we're doing as individuals, as families, as people of color. If you really are concerned about what's going to happen in this next administration, then you should be battening down the hatches in terms of what you invest in terms of what you support, what groups you support, what stores, what chains you support, where you purchase your products, where you shop. this is an opportunity to really do the things that maybe we've talked about doing and that we've deprioritized. So how is it that we prioritize making other folks rich, making other folks prosperous, consuming in something that we can never have an ownership stake in, but we don't prioritize actually doing the opposite, something that can actually help you, help us, help you. It helps everybody that you're concerned with, everyone that you want to protect, et cetera. So we can all use this time to to prioritize and look at areas of our life where we have pieces of unfinished business. And I think one of those pieces of unfinished business for our community is really going all in and supporting Black-owned businesses and businesses that have a concern for and a regard for our community, and to go all in on supporting those. And I think Fanbase is a great way to do that.
Folks, if you want to invest, startengine.com/fanbase. Startengine.com/fanbase. You can also download the app and just follow me. I'm at Roland S. Martin on Fanbase.
Hi, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase. Fanbase is a free to download, free to use, next generation social media platform that allows anyone to have followers and subscribers on the same page. Fanbase was built through investment dollars from equity crowdfunding from the Jobs Act. People just like you help build Fanbase, and we're looking for more people to help build Fanbase. We are currently raising $17 million in a Regulation A crowdfund on Start Engine. We've already crossed $2.1 million, but we're looking to raise more capital from people just like you that deserve the opportunity to invest in early stage startups without having to be accredited investors. So right now, I'd like you to go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest. The minimum to invest is $399. That gets you 60 shares of stock in Fanbase right now, today. And then use Fanbase to connect with friends, grow your audience, and be you without limits.